Hi bold bakers. When it comes to chocolate desserts, a molten lava cake is pretty decadent. But you know what's big and bold? A giant molten lava cake full of chocolate lava and enough to share it with all of your friends and family. That's what we're going to make today, so let's get baking. My recipe for chocolate molten lava cake I have had for a very long time. I got it from a restaurant that I worked at in Ireland, which was a 5-star hotel. It is an amazing recipe and I know you're really going to like it. The first thing we're going to start out with is a very important giant bar of chocolate. This is a pound of chocolate. Now when you're using chocolate, I would like you to use 72% because it is a little bit bitter and also not too dark at the same time. It has a little balance of sweet and bitter. So we're just going to put this into a bowl. Into our chocolate, we're going to add in some butter. So now with these ingredients, we're going to melt them all together. Now you want to do it gently because you don't want the chocolate to get too hot and to burn also. So you can do it in a microwave or you can do it over a bain-marie. So I microwave my mix for under 2 minutes. And as you can see, it's nice and melty. If there's some little lumps still in there, that's grand, because what we're going to do right now is set this aside. So it's still going to melt that chocolate a little bit, but it's also going to cool down. So we need this to be nice and cool before we add it into our eggs. Our next step for our chocolate molten lava cake is to whip up our eggs. Now I have a lot of eggs here. I've got some whole eggs and I've got some egg yolks. And we're just going to pour this into my stand mixer. You can also use an electric hand mixer, but just note you won't be able to do this by hand because you just need the eggs to be too fluffy and it'll be literally impossible. So into our eggs, we're going to add in our sugar. Now all you want to do is turn this mix onto a medium-high speed, and what you're going to see, it's going to maybe triple or quadruple in size. It's going to get really big and thick. So we're just going to watch it as it does that, and I'm going to show you the stage that you should get it to. So this has been whipping up for around 5 minutes and it's getting really nice and thick, but it can get even thicker. So we're going to keep on going for another few minutes. Okay, so it's been around 7 or 8 minutes beating, and this is what it should look like. Do you see how thick this is? Now there's something that you call holding a ribbon. Do you see that? When you pick it up and it holds its form, that's called holding a ribbon, and that's what you want your eggs to look like. When it gets that kind of like moussey, bubbly center, that's what does it. Nice big thick eggs. So into our big fluffy egg mix, I'm going to add in our cooled down chocolate. Now it is cooled down quite a lot. It's almost to room temperature, and you need it to be that cool before you add it into the eggs so it doesn't deflate them totally. So we're going to turn our machine onto a medium-low speed, and then we're very slowly and gently going to pour in our chocolate mix and let it all combine really well. Once all your chocolate is in there, you can see it deflated a little bit, but this is perfect. It's still nice and moussey. So now we're just going to take this bowl off the machine and we're going to add in our last ingredient. So we have our big gooey chocolate mix. Now to make it set like a cake, you're going to have to add in a little bit of flour. Now it's only a tiny amount, but you just need enough to make it set like a cake. So what you want to do is sieve in this flour. Now you don't often see me sieving a flour, but for something like this, it's important because you want to make sure that there's no lumps going into your lava cake because they won't work themselves out. So you want to fold in this flour gently, and when you're doing that, when it comes to baking, rather than using a big thick edged spatula, you want to use a very thin edged metal spoon. It's a really important technique when it comes to baking. When using meringue, like souffle, something like this, it's very important. A nice thin edge means that it won't knock down all those beautiful bubbles that you went to so much trouble to create. It'll keep them intact. So just down to the bottom of the bowl and all the way around and fold in that little bit of flour. Just keep on folding in until you can't see any more flour. You don't want to overwork it, just keep on mixing until it's all gone. Using the small amount of flour means that you still get a really gooey lava center in the middle, which is exactly what we love about lava cake. Okay, that's it. All of our flour is incorporated. I don't see any more bits. This is looking fantastic. So now it's time to get it into our bowl. So a chocolate molten lava cake has that dome shape, and we are going to get the exact same with our big giant lava cake. What you need is an oven safe bowl. As you can see, I have this nice bowl that is small on the bottom and then wide on top. You can use a pudding bowl, you can use a mixing bowl, a glass bowl. Anything that is oven safe will work really well. Want to make sure it is a nice size that we're going to be able to turn it out at the end. So this is what I'm using. I'm going to put the measurements for this along with the recipe on biggerbolderbaking.com. So to ensure we're able to turn out our lava cake, because I know, I'm guessing that's probably some of your biggest fear, is a really well buttered dish. So you know my trick with the buttered paper, always hang on to those guys, they're invaluable. We are just going to get it really nice and greased up because we need that cake, once it's baked, to slide right out of there. And one thing that's going to do that is a lot of butter. Once it's buttered, we're going to go and pour all of our molten chocolate lava cake into our dish. Now, if you don't want to bake this off straight away, you can pop this mix into the fridge for up to 4 days and it will live happily, and then just bake it off whenever you want it. And there is your big giant bowl of chocolate molten lava cake. Look at that, that is insane. This guy is ready for the oven. Bake your molten lava cake off at 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 180 degrees Celsius for roughly 50 to 60 minutes. So the secret to a perfectly baked molten lava cake is in the baking. Now, if you underbake it, it'll be too gooey. If you overbake it, it'll be too dry in the middle. You want to get that exact sweet spot. The thing about a molten lava cake is that you can't stick a knife in it while it's baking. You have to just judge by the look of it and the jiggle of it when it is done to perfection. And I'm going to show you that when it comes out of the oven. When your molten lava cake is out of the oven, you'll notice that the edges are a little bit cracked and it's firmer. And then in the middle, you want this part to be nice and gooey and soft because that is our lava. So once it's out of the oven, you want to let it rest for at least 10 minutes. And this helps it just hold its shape when you turn it out. Now, before you turn it out, get a little spatula or something very thin and just go around the edge, just the top of the cake, just to make sure it's not stuck to your bowl. Be careful not to pierce the cake. Just make sure that you can feel it's going to slide out okay, because this is one of the scariest and best parts. Now we're going to take our serving platter, this is my favorite one, and we're going to place it on top of the lava cake. And then with the tea towel placed over, we are very swiftly going to turn over the bowl. Once it's turned over, very carefully lift off the bowl. And look at that, oh my gosh! Oh, I'm so excited, it looks perfect. So on the top, it's nice and soft and squishy, so we know there's lava in there. And then around the edges are nice and firm. This is perfect. I have to say I was a little bit nervous that this wasn't going to turn out, but it looks fantastic. So you want to decorate it and eat it pretty much a few minutes after it comes out of the oven. So I am going to place around a few strawberries. And then I'm going to also place some lightly whipped cream on top. So actions speak louder than words. So let me show you why this is called a lava cake. Because as I scoop in here into the middle, what you should see is chocolate lava coming out the middle. Look at that, it's actually oozing out. This is perfectly cooked, a lovely gooey center of chocolate lava and then nice cake around the edges. I can't believe it, this is perfect. This is so big, I would say it serves around 10 to 12 people. You know when you're eating a dessert that's really decadent and you're actually finding it hard to breathe? Well, that's how I rate a good dessert. So that means this is one of the best desserts I've ever had. Thanks so much for subscribing to my channel and keep sending all of your great photos. I'll see you back here next week for more bigger, bolder baking. This has to be one of the best chocolate desserts I have ever done.